Today on Once Upon a Time, we talk about black fairies, authors, and spiders. Stay tuned.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hello, Oncers. Welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. We are here doing the Once Upon a Time after show episode, Mother's Little Helper. What's up, everybody? Welcome back. I'm your host, Marisa Serafini. You can follow me on Twitter at SeraphiniTV. Joining me, I have...
What is up, guys? My name is Dakota T. Jones. You can find me on all social media at Mr. Dakota T. Jones.
And hey, guys, it's Ally Nasta here. You can find me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at AllieGirl.
Boom. Yes, Tiana's not here this week, unfortunately, so, and neither is Roxy. So, we're here.
Yes.
Don't worry. Mother's Little Helper, real quick thoughts about this episode.
I think this episode was all over the place. I think it was crazy. There was a lot going on. We were just sitting there like trying to keep up with the whole thing. It was like, I can keep up with the Kardashians so much easier.
Oh, you did not mention Kardashian.
I did. But it was a hard episode to keep up with. I liked it. I thought it was great, some great storylines, but there was a lot of huge storylines packed into one episode. So it was like, where are we at now? Okay, cool. Okay, we're talking about Gideon. Very Gideon-centered. But then there was a lot of other things happening, like where's Hook going, and we're gonna play a game over some gems of Agrabah.
Okay, we'll get that.
You know.
Yeah. Allie, did you feel the same way?
I felt it was a little confusing, but I'm actually towards the end, it cleared up a lot of things. We finally found out what Gideon's real intentions were. Because I feel like I was just confused. Like, is he good? Is he bad? What's going on? I can't tell. I don't know if he's, like, throwing them under the bus.
Right.
So I was kind of confused with that. But overall, I mean, great episode. Just a lot packed in.
Yeah, I mean, like, and that's what they tend to do every episode for Once Upon a Time. I didn't really feel that this was all over the place.
Really?
When watching it, I only saw, like, 4 main stories. Really.
But, like,
we had Hook, we had the author storyline, and we had flashback of Gideon, and then present day Gideon.
So you
so
were
it's really
easy
4 different things that you just had to follow.
Easy to keep up with it.
Yeah, I personally didn't really have an issue following this episode, but let's get into it, shall we?
Let's do it.
Well, let's talk Hook. Hook, unfortunately, is still stuck. He makes this deal with Blackbeard. What were your thoughts of seeing Blackbeard again, but trying to do this poker game and trying to sell his Jolly Roger just so he can get transport back to home?
You know that old story where, like, the guy sells his watch to get his girlfriend, like, something, and then the girlfriend sells this, and the gifts that they give each other are... you know what I'm saying?
Oh, yes.
And, like, you know, like, I think Mickey and Minnie did this thing where, like, he got her a big loaf of, like, cake, and then whatever. I felt like it was very, like...
harmonica and a harmonica case.
There we go.
For Mickey and Minnie. Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
So I felt like it was very that, like, okay, well, I'm willing to give up my Jolly Roger for Emma type of a thing. I don't know, I just felt it was very, like, Mickey Mouse.
Minnie gave up her brush for a harmonica case.
Yes.
And Mickey gave up his harmonica for
I feel like it was
something
like
for Minnie.
Oh my
but
gosh,
I know
now
exactly
I
what you're
remember.
talking about.
Yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, he's going to give up the one thing he loves almost as much as Emma, not obviously just the same. But you know what I'm saying? It was very, like, I'm going to give up something that I love so much just to be with her again. I thought it was very cute. I liked it.
I think personally, I kind of knew he had something under his sleeve. Like,
Okay,
I didn't necessarily go right to that with the whole Emma thing, which is really great. That's very romantic to think that way. I think I was just like, he's got a plan, and he's going to make it happen. And so I was really interested to see how it was going to pan out, because Blackbeard is a pirate as well.
Right.
So I kind of knew there was going to be a double negative, something happening, something going on.
I really liked when Hook says, let's play this over a game, let's be civilized. And it's like showing he's really becoming a better person, you know? Like, he's not falling into his pirate ways of doing something dirty. You know?
Definitely.
He's actually going about it in a nice way.
Yeah. Definitely not, like, threatening anyone's life or anything like that. I mean, the old Hook would have picked up his sword and tried to battle to the death, but he was like, let's play cards. And I was like, okay, play cards.
I thought it was very smart how he did it, though.
Definitely.
Like, oh, you want my Jolly Roger ship? You're going to have to take me back to the location where it
smart.
is. I was like, yes, Hook, smart.
Very tricksy, but, I mean, he had to do what he had to do.
Yeah.
Sly.
And he came out on top.
Yes,
except
he did.
Technically not. He was able to win. He technically didn't come out on top because he didn't get sent home. But I think getting the bean and everything, he was successful.
I know. I want one of those beans. I want to, like, make it into a necklace and wear it around my neck. And he
You
looked
really
great.
put it and you wouldn't actually use it.
No, I would just keep it.
Yeah, I was waiting for you to say, like, I'm going to get transported. This is where I would want to go.
Yeah.
Right,
Like,
like
if you had
not
a
your
magic
one
bean.
destination in the entire world you wanted to go to. You're just gonna wear it as bling.
Probably for now. If I ever,
Okay.
you know, like when I was about to die or something and I wanted to go to some place I've always wanted to go, then maybe I would.
Interesting.
Got
All right.
it.
I'd save it for a rainy day.
Learning a little bit more about you.
Yes.
Interesting. But I like this deal. It was nice. It was nice to see Blackbeard, to see like another companion that Hook is up against that. In a way, they're very similar. Well, how they started is very similar, but
Yeah.
it just shows how much Hook has actually grown.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And his character growth. I enjoyed it because he really is a good guy now.
No, he definitely is. And I actually have been just like rewatching some old episodes, and it's so crazy to see like the just and not even immaturity, but just kind of like evilness behind his eyes that Hook used to have, and you
Yeah.
just totally see it's like you're looking at a different person.
Exactly.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting how they got stuck though, because later on, and we'll definitely cover everything, but when Gideon says the protection spell that he put on Hook won't let him travel, he's stuck.
Yeah.
He can't get back to Storybrooke, but he can get to other realms that
I know.
might get him to Storybrooke.
That
So
makes me
now
so
they
upset.
end up in Neverland.
Which
yeah.
I'm like, wow, we're revisiting that whole storyline.
Yeah,
Which-
but the Lost Boys.
Yep.
Yeah. Which I was really interested to see, like, to know that it took him back there, because I'm like, I guess like his default, because that was, I guess, because that wasn't technically his home, right?
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
he
know.
made it his home. He's.
That's
I
true.
mean, this is Captain Hook. You're known for the Neverland. To be
yeah.
in Neverland. So out of all the realms he could be stuck
It would
in,
make
at
sense.
least
It was almost like it
he
was like
knows this land.
it was like
Yeah.
a set reset button. It was like, all right,
Right.
default to
Yeah, default to where my last home
Right.
was.
There was a glitch in the game, and he just sent there.
Right, but he could actually use this to his advantage. I mean, he knows Neverland. He
Yeah.
knows the people there. He
That's
knows the
true.
Lost Boys.
Well, then why are they chasing him?
This is
I
Well,
think
they said the line though, like these are the more vicious, or not
Oh,
exactly
okay.
vicious, but these are the different types.
Lone
of
Rangers.
yeah,
Rangers.
like they
Lost
didn't
Boys.
want to leave Neverland.
Yeah, the worst ones, he says, no love. The ones that
Mm-hmm.
literally had no love.
Hmm.
So
Maybe
these
Hook.
guys aren't gonna help him.
No. Well, maybe Hook will like befriend them, and then they'll all be great, and they'll all head back to Storybrooke together.
You said the ones with no love?
Yeah, the ones with no love.
That
These are the
sounds-
worst Lost Boys, the ones that had no love.
That sounds like my ex-girlfriend.
Oh my god. Okay, moving on.
We were both caught off guard with that one.
All right, moving on. Well, the thing is that I don't know about you. I found this shot really funny when he's running away from all the Lost, or like the Lost Boys are chasing him, and for some reason my mind went to Pirates of the Caribbean when
Yes.
everyone's chasing Jack Sparrow.
Yeah,
I was
and
like,
Jack's
and
like-
he's a pirate too.
Yeah.
I know. What? Yeah,
Gotta
like
love
when
the Disney.
Blackbeard just like hits him like where, right here, or like on the side of the neck,
On
or
the
head?
neck. Seriously,
I was like,
I
how's
have
that
it in my
work?
notes. That was the lamest knockout, but I laughed the hardest at that one moment. It was hysterical.
I
And
just-
how the camera just like followed
I
him to
did
the
like
ground.
that part where the camera, like you felt like you were really following with him.
Hysterical.
Yeah.
But I don't understand how someone can be knocked out by hitting their shoulder or their neck.
Well, isn't it like a
you
pressure?
can.
Is there like a pressure
Yeah,
point?
pressure point.
Oh, okay.
It was close enough that you know that he got hit and knocked out.
Okay, because I was like, maybe like hit the head instead of the neck or shoulder, but
No.
I get what you mean now, pressure
No.
point, yeah.
That was like the Vulcan chop, you know, whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever the, I don't know, I don't watch Star Trek. But, yeah, so Blackbeard Lame goes out into the sea on the boat there. I'm like,
where does he
yeah, how
expect to
far are you
go?
going?
I
Yeah, how
know.
far are you going to make it?
Not
I
only
don't know.
that, but like if someone knocked me out and I looked up and they were just barely off the shore, wouldn't you run into the water? and,
That's
like,
what I was
hop in the
expecting.
boat?
I was expecting that to happen, but at the same time, it is true. Like, where could he really get to? How far is he gonna go?
don't
He
know.
doesn't have water. He doesn't have food.
I
He's
don't know.
probably
Maybe
gonna-
Blackbeard has another bean up his sleeve
Oh.
and just like drops
Or
it in the ocean.
maybe he's just gonna like circle around the island a bit and come back somewhere else where the Lost
Probably.
Boys aren't at, and then try to come back on the shore. I mean, that's probably what's gonna end up happening, to be honest.
Yeah.
Do you think Hook will eventually find out in Neverland how to get back to Storybrooke, or do you think that they actually have to lift the protection spell just so he can get back?
I
Is
feel
there a
like
way about this?
I don't think he's gonna be able to get out on his own. I think they're gonna find him and pull him out. Because right now I don't see any forms of communication that he could make that could possibly fix this right now.
I just kind of wish that it would all just kind of resolve itself in the next episode, because it is kind of hard to have like a total separate storyline where we have all this crazy stuff going on and then okay, Hook's stranded on an island. Like
Yeah.
I want to get him back to everybody. I know that it's a struggle, but if they make this like a like a half a season arc like they have with the whole Snow and Charming being asleep all the time.
Right.
Like they need to just figure it out, because after a while it gets a little old. Just a little bit.
It's already tired.
Yeah, because I'm like, come on, let's just get him back, you know?
That's a good point, because we have so many like broken couples.
I know.
Because we have the Charmings that are like, they're not together right now, and then we have Hook that he's not there right now. And then
everyone's dealing with their own problems right now.
Everybody's had some serious issues.
Gosh darn it.
Sounds like the real world. Everyone's got their issues.
That's very, very true. Very true to life. We'll eventually get Hook back, but yeah, I think I would love to think that there's a way around this protection spell that he can just get back on his own.
Yeah, that would be good.
But I don't know.
They usually find a loophole, but I don't know
loophole.
if this time there will be one. And maybe it is one of those things where we're going to have to wait until the curse is lifted and the spell is broken, you know?
Let's get to like the big storyline of this episode. We have Gideon, of course, being a problem. But let's start with his flashback when he was a kid. We've seen previous scenes of him as a child with Black Fairy, put him through a test to show his courage, and he's been labeled as a coward. Therefore, the similarities between him and his father, which obviously is a glaring issue for him too.
Yeah.
But now we get them as adults, the same kid, Roderick.
I know.
I felt bad for Roderick.
I felt bad for him too. And we were sitting there watching the whole time, like whenever the kid was getting taken away, help me, help me. And we were just like, we don't like this. This is awkward. Maybe we should turn away. It was just awkward and weird, and we just thought it was very Once Upon a Time. You know what I mean? Like, it's not something that we would usually see on the show.
To go that dark with a child storyline?
Yeah, that, and then it was just a very kind of demonic. There was a lot of demonic things happening in this episode, and we were just like, this makes us uncomfortable. We can't really pinpoint why it made us uncomfortable.
It was
but
just scary. I think it's because I really do not do well with scary movies, and I feel like this, because the Black Fairy kind of she's so creepy, and just I don't even know how to explain it, but just watching her when she comes in the screen, you're like what's gonna happen?
It is scary. I mean, the Black Fairy is not someone to be messed with, and Jamie Moore is an amazing actress. If you guys ever watched Defiance, go watch it. She was brilliant in that show. So I'm really happy to have her in the show.
Yeah, she reminds me of Nanny McPhee.
Oh,
if they put a wonky nose on her, she'd be Nanny McPhee.
I'm trying to get your references here, but okay.
You know who that is?
Yeah, no,
okay,
I know.
Okay.
Also Disney, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Emma Thompson.
Yes.
I know.
Yes.
Picking up when you're there or not. Got it. I enjoyed it. I mean, not really enjoyed it, but I liked seeing where Gideon started off as a kid.
Yes.
But now see him as adult being twisted by Black Fairy. But even in his adult life, there are moments, glimmers of hope that he's actually still a good person. He has a conscience.
Yeah.
Did you feel the same way?
I totally felt the same way, because I literally wrote down, so I think Gideon is good, and then I was like, I can't tell if he's good or bad. I don't know.
Gideon is evil.
Yeah, I wrote down Gideon's good. No, he's bad. Oh wait, he's evil. No, he's good. I just was going back and forth with it, and you don't know, and then until
Makes
that
sense.
one main point that he kind of. You understand that the Black Fairy was holding his heart and controlling him. Yeah, which I'm sure we'll get into that. But it just, seeing him as a child too, you kind of wonder how he turned bad, because we were going back and forth with seeing him as an innocent child and then going back with this evil person that he becomes, and you just don't really understand where it came from.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't understand it at first, because I was like, okay, he must be bipolar or something. He's good and he's bad, and he's good and he's bad. But
he's conflicted. I wouldn't say bipolar. He's conflicted.
He's conflicted.
Bipolar is a legit medical condition.
No, I know, but I thought,
not mix the two.
I was like, maybe he is though. But then it ended up being, okay, he's being controlled. But I was wondering why these sudden changes in emotion, or in action. You know what I'm saying?
Or morals. I'd say he was morally conflicted. Because he knows what Black Fairy has been doing. He's twisted her, and he has this conscience, especially the moment when he apologizes to Roderick.
Yeah.
It seemed genuine. He was crying. It's I'm sorry that you went through this, and we're all going through this. But that gave me hope that him in his adult life, he knows right and wrong.
Yeah.
So it gives me hope that he might actually make a good decision at the end, which has been going with my predictions every week, that he'll have a moment where he'll actually turn good.
Well, I think he totally is good deep down. I think that with knowing that he's being controlled, I think he's definitely good on the inside and like wants to stop this from happening, because it's like he kind of has Roderick as that like little voice in his head to do good, because he did see him from the beginning and then to the end, and that was just like so heart-wrenching, I think, on him. But also really quickly, I just I don't know if you guys have talked about this before with the Black Fairy, but like I'm still confused why like she didn't want to be a mother to and to Gold, but she wants to be a mother to Gideon. So I'm just confused. Like, why him? Is it like, what is he like? It looks like to me she really wants to, like, you know, let him be her evil son, and like she really like as evil can love a child. I feel like she loves him in that weird sense. And so I'm just kind of figuring out, like, why did she want to take him away? What does she have in leverage into making him her son?
I think she maybe like didn't want to have Gold as a son, but then realized how he's the Dark One, he's evil, and she's thinking, oh, he's the product of evil, I could really use him, type of a thing.
Could be. And I'm just trying to remember, like, if you saw like any scenes where Black Fairy, you know, with, I mean, she's technically Gold's mother.
Yeah.
But we don't, and we know like Gold's father was really twisted with Peter Pan.
Yeah.
Like that's just an innately dark family.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't think we've seen any scenes where maybe she just didn't want Rumple with the husband, with Rumple's father during that time. That would like explain the reason why she didn't want to be a mother towards Rumple, and instead of, and now just wants to raise Gideon as her own.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So it's like she kind of wants a second shot at it?
Yeah, maybe. Or maybe she's just a twisted woman who's very alone and wants minions of her own.
Yeah. Someone, Thomas Dell in the chat says his heart is pure light, no darkness, so he'll definitely team up with Emma. That's interesting.
I hope so.
Oh, you know, that's a really good point. Who said that?
It was Thomas Dell Agnola. Sorry.
Thank you, Thomas, because that reminds me, when we saw the Black Fairy pull out the heart, it was nice and bright and red.
Yeah.
I was like, he's good. He's actually good.
Yeah.
Very bright.
And now knowing the audience knows that he's been under the control of Black Fairy this whole time.
Yeah.
What has it literally been from day one, now going back? He's just been under control of Black Fairy, and it's really been Black Fairy's doing with all the dark actions that he just can't fight it.
I think that's why it was so confusing this episode of with him going back and forth so much, because I think now that when I found out that the Black Fairy had his heart, I think it's in those moments where I mean, obviously she's controlling it the whole time, but I think there's moments where, like, if you think about if she's in her world, she stepped away from the heart for a second. I think that's when, you know what I mean? Like, I'm thinking about it, and if that were to happen, then I think those times he was talking to Emma, I think he genuinely was speaking from not lack there of the heart, but I think he was speaking from how he actually feels.
The good
and
Gideon.
yeah, and then when we saw the bad Gideon, that's when the Black Fairy's actually controlling him.
It makes so much sense now, because she is controlling him, and whenever Emma punched him or whatever, and he started bleeding, and he was like almost crying, and he was saying, like, you really have no idea who I am, like, I am good. And I was thinking, this guy's insane, but then we realized, wow, he really is, and she's just controlling him like her little puppet.
Yeah.
Little puppet.
Yeah, and I think that was like him being so like sad and like torn up by it, like him crying. I think it was really him just trying to like get out, like, I wish I could tell you that I'm being controlled, but I can't. So like, I really am good, whether you want to take it or not. But then she swoops in and makes him do terrible things.
Oh, goodness. Let's talk about those terrible things, shall we? What was terrible for me, personally, I'm not sure about you guys. The spider.
Yes.
Oh, my God. Okay, I have, like, a legit fear of the spider. So, like, and, like, I won't get into it, but this is literally my worst nightmare on screen.
Oh, my gosh.
So I had the hardest time watching this moment with Emma and getting, like, oh.
You really
Talk
are.
about it.
You're like an arachnophobia?
Yes, I can't right now.
Wow.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, I didn't realize it was
I come
that
from the
serious.
country. I have legit, I won't get into it, a legit fear of spiders.
Wow.
Especially attacking me like big ones like that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know it was fake,
so
you guys.
creepy.
I know it was CG.
And it was very fake
But it was humongous tarantula, and we saw it go everywhere
Oh my
on the
gosh.
screen, trying to legit kill Emma. I was like, I cannot handle
That
this.
first time
This
whenever...
is my fear projected on screen right in front of me.
The first time whenever he, like, you know what I'm gonna say. Whenever he, like, moved his butt around and, like, made that one web.
I was really
we were like, what is that? Like, what, did it just take a pee? Like, we were so confused.
Yeah, We
and
were
it came
really
right out the
confused for a
butt, and we
second.
weren't thinking, okay, it's a web. But he was just like kind of twerking, throwing it back, and it was like putting everything
But
everywhere.
when you say it like that.
And we were just like, what the heck was that?
Like, I didn't expect it to finally, like, it was essentially, like, his powers. Like, he was going to start shooting his web everywhere. But for a second, we're like, did he just go to the
He like
bathroom?
assumed the position and we got ready, threw that thing up in the air, and boom, 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 boom. Machine gun up in there.
Yeah, I think
scary. Especially with the opening title credits, all you saw were webs, spider webs. I was like,
You're like,
no,
no.
I'm not going to like this episode. And sure enough, it was scary. It was scary. I personally,
I wish I could have watched it with you. I would have loved.
I'm
to have
glad
seen
you didn't, because I was ridiculous.
it. Were you by yourself?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I regressed to like a childlike state, wanting like
Oh my god.
coffee or a drink more so.
Oh my
no,
gosh.
I feel terrible.
I know. I didn't realize it was so serious because then you tweeted about it,
Because it was horrible.
and I was like, oh, she
I
like doesn't
can't
like
do spiders,
spiders,
you
but
guys.
then
I can't.
no.
All right, moving on.
Moving on.
The spider. Well, we see Emma and Gideon trying to maybe work with each other again. Gideon's twisted mentality of trying to get Emma on board to help him defeat the Black Fairies. Like,
Yeah.
You had the right intentions, but not the right execution.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you saw it kind of like fall through, and which was crazy to see that like Gold kind of came in to save the day, because at one
Yeah.
point I'm like, I don't know how she's gonna get saved, because he literally left
Wrapped
her
her up like a
just
mummy, like-
yeah, like when I thought there was no saving. I thought there was no saving her
I
at that
know.
point.
It got close, though.
It
got
got really
very close.
close.
Knowing that Emma can die and all of her powers will get transferred to the sword, therefore Gideon can use it to splice between the two realms. Like, what?
She was
Okay.
wrapped up so tight. Like I was like claustrophobic watching it, and like her one eyeball was hanging out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, we were watching The Mummy or something.
It was definitely.
It was
funny.
so scary
Or Lord of the Rings: Return of the King.
because she was just she
Pretty much.
couldn't move.
Yeah.
I was not about it.
No, and wait, this is kind of going back, but I'm good. Just this is a question for Gideon. How did he get his powers? Was it something that the Black Fairy gave to him, or he just had powers from birth? Because I was trying to figure that out when he was little. Did he just not know? Sorry, I'm jumping back a
No.
couple steps.
I think
but-
he's innately magical.
okay.
I don't, because we didn't really see the progression of
Yeah.
him growing up from a kid to and like how he harnessed his power. But
Right.
I think it's just kind of assumed that we all can believe that he has
Plus,
powers.
he's like a
Yeah.
child of gold. you
Yeah,
know,
I was just trying to figure out if it
all-powerful.
was something that like the Black Fairy had like given him, like you will
Infused.
have these powers
Yeah.
now.
In
But-
fairness, the Black Fairy had dust too, and that's like dark magic. So
Right.
I think everything that we've seen him use or magic are all like tangible objects. Maybe he himself doesn't have magic. He has to possess magical objects to do magic. Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe he's not magic at all. He just has to use magical objects.
Maybe.
What?
That's a good prediction.
But then when he first entered the town, he was able to turn the queen into the spider. I mean, not the spider, the snake. So he didn't have any? Oh, but he had the sword, right?
the
No, he
magical
didn't have the sword yet, because Emma had the sword at that point. Now I'm trying to think back
Yeah.
if like he's always
Let
had
us know
something.
in the chat.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think. If you think that he is only just using magical objects, or if he really is magical.
He might be. He might be.
Victoria said, "I think Gideon was taught magic like Regina was."
Yeah.
Mm.
So I think it's something you can learn and can harness and grow your powers.
Right, and then someone said Gideon gets his powers from the Black Fairy in gold, which okay, that makes sense.
That makes sense.
Yeah, but now that I think about it, it's like you had the black dust, you had the sword, you
Yeah.
had, heck, even the dagger. Like, he
Yeah.
possesses his magic through magical items and conduits, not himself.
Yeah,
Oh.
I like that.
Aha!
I like that.
That is his weakness. That's how we can take him down. Boom, I solved it.
Yeah, that was good. That was really good. I'm sitting here quietly thinking like, oh my gosh, how did she come up with that? But yeah.
Yeah, Casket Fan says, I think Gideon got his powers like Regina. So we've got people saying what we're saying is like he
Okay.
got him from gold, and then people are saying that he was taught from the Black Fairy just like Regina was.
Yeah.
Yeah, he might just also have it innately.
Yeah,
and
I guess
he-
that would make
Well,
sense.
and he can also transport himself too. No, I don't know. I'm just
Sorry.
throwing ideas
No,
out there.
yeah.
I'm literally thinking this out loud. But I don't know. He does have a weakness because we know he is good.
Yeah.
Look at his heart.
Yeah.
It's cleaner than Regina's, and I love Regina.
Yeah, that's true.
Lord bless her soul.
But just seeing the heart makes me believe that he is a good
That
person.
was like
Yeah.
neon heart going
It
on
was.
there. I was like, okay,
It
he
was.
must be good.
It
Yeah.
was.
So we
And-
can just cross all your notes out.
Yes.
But he is good.
Yeah.
And then
You
later
guys,
we
he's
might have
good.
to cross it out again.
Yeah, because we don't really know.
don't know.
But I will say, I think what also convinced me that he was good before the heart was pulled, that he really was trying to help Roderick. You know what I mean? He really was going into a zone where he knew he wasn't allowed in order to try to help these kids. So I think that was my first sign of, okay, he really is good. It was just figuring out the future of Gideon, how he turned evil, which was because he was being controlled.
Yeah.
So true.
Interesting. Okay, so they work together. They conjure the spider, which was horrible. Horrible. And it just all went down there for me personally.
Stomped on it.
But it was interesting how they set up like an altar kind of thing and then got the spider.
What do you mean?
You know how they had to set up the tears and the book and the candle, you know? It was like strategically placed like an altar, and then they cast the spell.
It was very
and then the spider
demonic
came.
Yeah.
type of thing going on this entire
little
episode.
bit,
And then
a
the
little
whole
bit.
thing with Henrold.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely get into him. But anything else about Gideon? Now that we know that he does have the sword, and the Black Fairy comes back during the time where Emma almost quote unquote died.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to
Black
be
Fairy
gone.
crossed.
yeah.
I mean, I'm not actually surprised because when we saw Gideon in the tower and he like slashed the realm, and I was like, what are you just standing there for?
Yeah.
It's open.
Yeah.
You had 20 seconds to walk through it.
Yeah, I was wondering that too, and I was confused because then it was like, what is this here for?
Yeah. That's one of the things that gives me the most anxiety on TV shows is whenever they open a freaking portal
And they don't jump through.
and they
go
stand
through.
there or they embrace and they kiss
the
and they're like, I don't
talk,
know, and they talk,
conversation.
and then it starts getting smaller and smaller. I'm like, no.
They're like, just get through the portal.
I would give my
Right.
goodbye hugs and kisses beforehand, and I would know that this is not something to play around. That gives me so much anxiety. Like I sit there and I like fester
Just
over
like
it.
wanna
yeah,
shake 'em.
I feel the
It's
same
dramatic
way.
effect. It's dramatic effect.
I know, but
I
it
don't
has
like it.
happened before where they miss the portal, and then it's this whole process of them trying to find how to get there. And it's like, you had your opportunity.
I hate
know.
you. Like, just do it.
Not to jump off the topic, but the one when Regina and Emma
And Emma couldn't
Oh
get
my
back, and Robin
gosh,
showed up. I
Robin
was
yeah,
like,
showed up.
just grab Robin by the arm, pull him through. You'll figure it out later.
Right?
and then we'll talk.
Yeah.
No, I thought
But-
the exact same thing.
Yeah.
I'm just like, no, portals, they give me anxiety.
Yeah. Well.
Portals, I mean, it's not good crossing realms. We know this. now.
Yeah.
Especially
All
if you,
magic comes
even
with a
if you
price.
open it up for 10, 20 seconds. Oh, man. The Black Fairy, she's now in Storybrooke. She's
Yes.
going to cause havoc.
Oh. It's like we finally got rid of
inevitable.
the evil queen, and now we've got the Black Fairy, and I
I'm like,
just
can
am not.
we not have someone dressed in black trying to terrorize the city, please?
But then what's the fun if we don't have a villain?
That's true.
Yeah, that's true.
That's
I
true.
mean,
Because now it's like technically we're gonna find out. Because it's only a matter of time before Rumple and Belle find out that their son is actually
my
being
gosh.
controlled.
yes, let's talk about
That
them before we
made me
move on.
so
Rumple and Belle.
Rumble.
Literally, my notes, I put ugh.
How you spell that?
So, UGH.
Oh, okay.
HHHH.
It's like you're like, ugh. And I was like, how does that be spelled? But
I mean, they're trying to force it upon the audience to have them two together again.
Yeah.
No, it's not working.
I don't know what they're trying to do with them, but what really made me mad was like, which I thought it was great for the story, so I'm not like criticizing the story. I'm just saying, like, as a person, if I were in this situation, I would have been so upset. Like, literally, your son left me to die, and you are just say, don't lay a hand on my son. But now it makes sense because he's being controlled, so
Yeah.
yes, I don't want him to be hurt. But, like, they're always standing up for him, and they're like, you don't know him. Like, literally, he's trying to kill Emma.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. Like, as much as he is your son, like, you let him go the day, that still irks my nerves, because I'm like, Belle, if you just would have waited, like 1 minute, and then, like, maybe this wouldn't have happened, but obviously we wouldn't have a story there, but that's, you know?
Right.
But yeah, I think it's just, like, them, like, Rumple and Belle just, like, trying to fight this vision, but also too, it kind of confuses me because Belle has been able to talk to Gideon before in her dreams and everything, and she's
Right.
seen that he's good, so I can kind of understand where she's coming
Yeah,
from.
I get that.
Because she's been warned by him, she's been able to talk to him, she's been able to like reason with him, and you know, he's kind of helped her in the long run, I guess you could say. So
Definitely. I agree. I agree. It's I'm just happy that we kind of know what's going on behind the scenes with Gideon, because
Yeah.
for the longest time I was just getting super duper upset at the screen. I'm like, guys, what's going on here? Like, make up your mind. But I totally like where they're going with this now. The whole storyline, it's making sense, and they just gave us the information so we could put 2 and 2 together, you know?
Yeah. Like, I do like the storyline, and like, to your point, it is making sense, but I don't like how they're trying to make it okay that Belle and Rumple are getting back together over all of this.
I don't know if they're getting back together, but I think that we see them by the well,
we
they're
see the
working
moments
together.
where they're, like, civil with each other, but, like, they're holding hands.
Yeah,
and, like,
Wait.
You can't have an actual hold-handing shot if you're not going to build upon that.
Yeah, and they are always like this kind of. Like, you know what I mean? Just so like, it is kind of confusing too, because it's like we went from like the polar opposite where, let's not forget, it's only been like what, a week in Once Upon a Time world where she had the baby.
Couple days.
Yeah.
He said.
Yeah.
Like, I think it was Belle or Rumple, one of the two, but it's like he's only been here for a couple days.
Yeah.
Like,
oh my gosh!
Shoot.
And let's not forget that recently he like left her on the ship with a protection spell and like told her she wasn't allowed to go anywhere. Like, and now they're holding hands again. You know what I'm saying? It's a very. It's not a healthy relationship.
Yeah, no, it's not. It's toxic. It's toxic. It's like, Belle, drop him, get him out.
An emotionally abusive relationship.
It's fine if they work together and be civil. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But just
Co-parenting,
don't make
love it.
us want to have those two back together again, because nothing good can come from it.
No.
I'm so over this relationship.
Some people are upset because they're like, you guys gotta be for them. Like, well, a lot of people in the chat are always saying like, you guys gotta go with the Rumble, whatever. But
what are they saying, Ally?
Someone's Sky Patterson says Belle and Rumple don't trust each other. Mike Michaela says Belle needs to stop like Rumple has. Belle needs to stop like Rumple has done so much to you. Just drop him like a hot potato already, girl.
Yes, drop him, girl.
Drop like a hot potato.
Yeah. So I mean, I
like a bad habit.
Yeah.
Because he is a bad habit. She just keeps going back to him over and over again. It's toxic.
It's crazy.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's like 90% of my friends, I feel like. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, no, it's a vicious cycle.
Get
just
out of
get
it.
out.
Get out of it. And they ask for your advice. You give it to them. They do the exact opposite. They're still with the person.
Yeah.
It's exhausting.
I think, too, it's just like Rumple's so back and forth with himself. Of like, he's good, he's bad, he's there to help out everybody. He's actually there to help out himself. Like, with him, you just don't know what you're going to get every episode.
What did you think of Rumple in this episode? I mean, we saw him kind of civil with Belle and Emma at the beginning of the episode, but then when he saves Emma's life, and then 2 minutes later, it's like, if you do anything to my son, I will do whatever it takes to stop you. Like, are you good? Are you bad?
Yeah.
Does that mean, like, you will literally murder Emma just to stop her from saving your son?
And he said, don't lay a hand on him. And it's like, he's the one that laid a hand on me.
Yeah.
You
Right,
know what
exactly.
I'm saying?
And she's like, this is the second time he pretty much screwed me over, so yeah, I'm rightful to be pissed. Like, yeah, girl. That's how I summed it up. That, like, he did wrong. Gideon did wrong towards Emma, so yeah, she's rightfully mad.
Totally. I think also too, Gold just kind of, I don't even know how to feel about him, and I think it's only because if I were to see him in like back in like Rumple gear, I feel like I'm like, okay, can't trust you at all, because he's always like, hey, like, you know,
Deary.
Yeah.
Magic comes with a price.
But like in this realm, like with him with Belle, I feel like one thing I do kind of think is he really does only have good intentions for her.
Yeah.
I don't know if I just went back on what I said, but I think I feel like I'm just confused with them. Maybe we should just say that it's confusing.
I love
I was just very confused with Rumple in this episode. I didn't know whether to root for him because he saved Emma.
Yeah.
And is essentially the main character of the show. But then 2 minutes later threatened her. Like,
yeah.
Are you good or are you bad?
I'm
Should
like,
we like
is
you
the
or
Black
not?
Fairy controlling your heart too right now?
Yeah,
Like,
seriously.
you know what I'm saying? Who knows?
knows?
It's
Predictions.
It's a lot of back and forth. It's like, but that's his character, right?
Yeah.
He's supposed to be conflicted. Therefore, we are conflicted as well. All right. Anything else about Emma and Gideon and all this is going to go down bad? Other than
down.
the fact Black
Oh
Fairy's
yeah,
in
the
town.
Savior fights the final battle.
Yes, let's get into Regina and Henry.
Oh yes.
They were kind of off on their own in this episode.
Yeah.
That's
too.
another storyline that we had.
But I actually enjoyed this. I feel this was like the lighter storyline.
Lighter?
a little
Did you
bit.
not see his demonic
For the-
eyes?
Yeah, that was
For the
scary.
most part, I think it was like the fun banter. That's what I'm thinking.
Oh.
Like the lighter,
Okay,
more
I
levity
was like,
of this episode.
lighter.
Because when he started writing, I was
dark
like,
moments.
what's happening?
I know.
I'm scared.
We like kept freaking out. We're like, this is crazy. Like,
Yeah,
with the
I wrote in my notes,
symbols.
Henry's possessed. But he's writing all these weird ineligible symbols and stuff, illegible symbols. We don't know what it is.
You know,
have to go to Isaac.
I thought it was, before they went to Isaac, I thought it was the Black Fairy somehow trying to communicate to them. That's what I thought. And then when they brought in the whole Isaac scenario, I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. Like, I had no idea who they were going to meet down there.
That's an interesting thought. Do you think the Black Fairy knows about the whole author story?
Definitely.
Like the author character, that this is someone that has a great power.
I feel like she's pretty all-knowing, and I feel like she might try to use this against him, because I feel like if they brought Isaac back, obviously it helped with the storyline to give information, but yeah, I think she's trying to get there. So now the Black Fairy is in Storybrooke, and she's gonna try to use whoever she can to get what she wants. Yeah. So I feel like she's very well aware of everyone and everyone's powers, but.
Yeah, and now that does kind of make sense how we were seeing so many different storylines happen, because they clearly all have to mesh together in one sense. And there's more to the dark curse that we kind of were revealed to this episode. So that's got to be like do something with the story, which has to do with the Black Fairy, with her main purpose of creating this dark curse, and like whatever the end of the story has to be. Like I feel like they all connect to each other, and that's kind of why we were brought through so many different twists and turns this episode.
Yeah, and we learned with the Black Dust, the Black Fairy is really the one who started the whole dark curse.
Yeah.
We know Regina executed the dark curse, but the curse was actually created from the Black Fairy. Yeah. So that just makes her even more evil. Yeah. Than what we've seen. She's the top of evil. Yeah. The cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop.
Of evil. She's the one that created the dark curse.
She is nasty.
Interesting. But I mean, we get Isaac. It was fun seeing Isaac.
Seeing him. He's
especially unfortunately he's been in prison a little bit too long. He's making unreasonable demands. Sports car, Hamilton tickets.
I know. I was like, okay.
It's kind of funny. I was like,
I get it.
Doable.
See it.
He just wants to get out. I don't blame him.
That's true.
I don't blame him. But we go to Isaac to find out what's happening with Henry. Yeah. But Henry's powers are advancing, growing. His trances are going to get more serious. Yep. Yeah. I don't think anything good can come out of these trances.
No, and he even tells him, like, this is bad. Like, if I were you, I'd come with me right now. Like, let's get out of here. This is not going to be good.
But, yeah, that makes me question, because we never saw it when we were first introduced to all the author storylines. We never knew that, like, trances could happen to this capacity. How many other authors went through this? If it's happening to Henry, how many other authors has this happened to? And if that did happen, how many stories were affected under their possession transit? Yeah.
I feel like this is something they added in after the fact, and they may have not thought all that through, maybe.
Well, now go back and answer it.
Yeah. Well, hopefully they will. They will.
I don't know. But the chances are going to get more frequent and more intense, which that's not good.
No.
Not good.
But what do you think the symbols were?
I have no idea. Like, I mean, it clearly, I feel like the symbols are some sort of language, obviously, that it will unveil whatever he was trying to say. Like, maybe it's like a warning? I don't know. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I don't even know what I think about it right now. I think I just have so many questions.
I have a lot of questions.
Yeah, I was just trying to think what language it could have been from, like, another story or folk tale that we could this could be, like, a possible setup of the next big character or big location that we go to. Yeah. It could, in a way, it kind of looked like Atlantis. Story writing, but not really.
A little bit.
That
would be really cool.
Yeah, now
it'd
be great.
I would love that.
That
story.
totally would make sense. Someone, where was it?
I want to watch that movie now.
Deanna in the chat. Deanna in the chat said maybe, hopefully Belle can translate Henry's foreign trance writing, and I was like, oh, that could make sense, because she's clearly, she reads all the books and knows all the information.
Just the library. Yeah.
So maybe she'll be able to. That'd be interesting if she was able to figure out what that actually means.
Yeah, maybe it's just like an old language of the fairies. I don't know.
I could see Belle like going over to help him and like trying to teach him and bring a book over to like teach him what the language is. She's like, but you won't know till chapter 3. Get it?
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
You just did that so you could sing.
No, I just did that because I just watched the new Beauty and the Beast movie and I love it.
Finally.
Someone else actually in the chat just said, Riley said the symbols look like the symbol from the Disney movie Atlantis.
Yes.
Wow.
It would be amazing to see
it. Would be really cool.
And we've seen blue crystals in previous episodes. Yeah. Like, there's been so many like things that could point to Atlantis. It'd be great if
that would be an amazing storyline. I would love that so much.
Lost City? I mean, come on. What's not like
They'd have to
What
go
couldn't we do
underwater.
if we didn't go to
What
Atlantis?
if that's where Hook goes and they have to find him in Atlantis and that's what the message says?
Oh, like
maybe.
that's the next.
That's the
Yeah.
next portal.
realm that he
I would
jumps
like
to?
that. I would really, really like that. Oh my
Great
gosh, I
would that be?
love that.
So many different theories based
So
upon that
many.
one.
Yeah,
So many.
I'm excited.
I don't know. I'm getting excited just thinking about it.
That'd
But
be
I don't know.
amazing.
I don't like. There's a lot of places that I would still like the show to get
Yeah.
to. We went to Narnia, a little bit. Well, we saw some symbolisms of Narnia, with the
Yeah.
White Witch and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
The wardrobe.
I mean, well, we'll get into predictions because we saw wardrobe in the preview. But yeah, we find out at the end of the book, the Savior fights the final battle. You don't want to be around when that happens. The book that, I mean, Henry has had this book for 6 years. You think he would have read it from front to back over and over and over again?
Yeah.
And now he's finally questioning what the
He's
last
like,
chapter
wait a
is?
minute. The last chapter.
Well,
It's
yeah,
like,
that's what kind of confuses me because I could have sworn we've seen the last chapter before and it's filled. You know what I mean?
Right.
I'm like maybe I'm just making that up in my head and we did see that there was extra pages. But I feel like we had a conclusion, and that's why they were able to win. Oh my gosh, what was the other author's name that we just sent away with a car?
Isaac?
Yes, Isaac.
Isaac,
Sorry.
Isaac.
So when Isaac was like when he brought them to basically sell the story and everything, when that whole storyline was happening, I thought when they got it back, the story was complete. That's why it's like kind of confusing. Like, where is this coming up again,
Right.
or how is it coming up?
Yeah, my thing is like, Henry, you've had this book for years. You know this book better than everybody else. You never really thought about the end of the book or what happens to the characters at
Yeah.
the end. And
final
we know that there are more different books out there. Is it just the end of this particular book,
Right.
this particular chapter,
That's true.
in this particular realm? We don't know.
Yeah. Well, I guess that would make more sense then if this was just another one of the books that he hasn't read all the way through.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's an author. He can write more
Right.
and append this book, add like even more book story to the end of the book.
Yeah.
So it didn't like necessarily end where it was
Yeah.
originally. He could just add more stories to it to keep the story going.
Right. I know, because I feel like
not
I've
good.
seen other people in the chat too. It's kind of confusing because the way they say the final battle makes you worried. Like, what are you trying to say with that?
Yeah,
Right.
fights the final battle. Those are very definitive words.
Oh my gosh. And he said you don't want to be around. Like, you know how, oh my gosh. Well, no, because you said that they're trying to talk for Emma to be in season 7, right? They're trying to like work with the contract and everything.
Yeah, everyone's still in negotiations
Okay.
right now.
Because I just like, I'm wondering like if it's the final battle, what if like at the very end they did kill Emma off? And then like with the new season there was like a new savior or something like that. That would be a lot. That would be crazy.
I don't think
feel
people
like-
would be happy with
yeah,
that.
I feel like
mean,
the-
you can kill Buffy twice in the show, but the show is literally dead without the main character.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you kill Emma, like it would work, but you'd have to find a way to get her back.
Yeah.
Because you kill Emma, you literally kill the show. The ratings will just drop and plummet to the point where the networks just actually cancel the whole darn thing.
Well, I feel like, and
Yeah.
we've been on such a journey, like, I would hope that the way it would end would actually be a full circle story where we got, like, all of our answers concluded, like, everything that we wanted to know, we would need to know. And I feel like they would definitely do that for this fan base because everybody's so
Yeah.
dedicated that I feel like there's no other way you could end it besides tying the loose ends.
I think so, yeah.
Final battle, that might be the last season. Like that
Oh,
would
yeah,
be
yeah,
like
yeah.
season 7.
Yeah, like, they would make that into a whole story
Like
itself.
the whole season 7 would be the final battle, final chapter.
yeah, that
Yeah,
would
yeah.
make sense.
That's the whole thing.
That
with
is
the
cool. How
whole
many
last
episodes do we
scenes.
have left? We have like 4.
We're on 16, so we have
4
about
more?
like 6 more.
Oh.
Oh, that's a good
4
amount.
to 6. I'm bad at math.
Okay.
It's around there.
Either way.
It's around there.
In your dating profile, it should say, bad at math, I hate spiders.
Yeah.
And I love Once Upon a Time.
And love Once Upon a Time. Yeah,
And I
but
love Hooker for Life.
it's not good. It's not good. This final battle, it sounds super ominous,
Sounds bad.
super definitive. Like
Yeah.
it's an end to something.
Yeah.
Whether
Yep.
it be the show or whether it should be a certain character.
Yep.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Scary.
All right. Anything else about this episode that we may have missed? Anyone want to talk about? Favorite moments?
Ooh, favorite moment I gotta say was, I think when that spider was really getting at it.
Oh, Stop it.
I really think so. That was my moment because it was one of those things where I got to laugh a little bit, which was fun.
Yeah, I honestly found it kind of comical when Blackbeard was like rowing away, and like it was just like I feel like he was just like, yeah, I'll get you, and Hook's like yelling at him, and then it just kind of went nowhere. So I just thought that was kind of entertaining.
That was entertaining. Yeah, I would have literally. I think any normal person would just run in the water and just swim to the boat because he's not that far away.
Right.
So that part was funny.
Chased him
That
down.
part was funny.
Yeah.
Hook could have swam him down, really.
Exactly.
My favorite moment was when Blackbeard knocked him out. I think it was just the way it was done. It's so comical.
Yeah.
I was like, what? The lamest knockout.
I wasn't expecting
but
that.
I laughed the hardest at that moment. All right, so should we do Once Upon a Weave?
Yes, we should.
Here we go. Roxy's not here. Tiana's not here. But Dakota, what did you think?
Okay, Once Upon a Weave, I really want to give it to the Black Fairy. I think she looked great. She was very evil. She's such a great like villain because she makes you just like, ugh, like you just don't want to look at it. And she's beautiful and that smile.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think that her hair just really completed her character, and it was very like evil queenish of her. But I just thought she looked great, and I think that she was a great villain, and I think she definitely won for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd have to give it to the Black Fairy too.
Yeah.
It's like, as evil as all these characters are, we tend to always give them the Once Upon a Weave because they still look on point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, seriously,
amazing.
they're evil, but they look amazing.
Yeah.
So I think they do that very, very well. All right, let's get to. I don't really have any news, but let's get to predictions.
Let's
then.
do
Yes.
And now, your AfterBuzz
TV predictions.
All right, Ellie, let's start with you.
All right, so I believe that Gideon is actually going to be good, and next episode we're going to find out that he's being controlled by the Black Fairy, and I think that like everybody's going to kind of hero around him, and it's going to be all of them against the Black Fairy, figuring out for this like final battle, whether we get introduced to that next episode or not. And I also believe that we're ending this sleeping curse. Like it's got to end sometime.
We
so
gotta
I
do
feel like
something.
if it doesn't
Didn't even
happen,
get David in this episode.
Yeah.
How sad was that?
yeah, that was really sad. But like I feel like if it doesn't happen this episode, it'll definitely end on the next episode. Like we're nearing the end with that, and there's only so much they can
Can you
have
imagine
them
like
sleep
the
through.
very, very last episode of the season? It's like a Twilight thing where you know how Bella like opens her eyes.
Yeah.
And like Snow like opens her eyes or something. Oh my gosh. I'd be like, really?
Creepy.
Now?
Well,
Yeah.
we saw in the preview a shot where they're like putting the hearts into both of them at the same time.
That's true.
Into Snow and
Oh,
David. So
right.
I don't know if it's like that's their equivalent of jump-starting the
Yeah.
hearts. Who knows?
I think my biggest prediction is I would hope that Emma will not die in the final chapter. But if she did, or let's say maybe she's not the savior anymore at some point, I think that they've been playing up Gideon's storyline so much that he will be the new savior. And so I feel like maybe Emma will be in the story, but maybe not the savior anymore, and maybe he will take over as savior somehow.
And then he just goes away.
Well, either he goes away or he sticks around.
No. Okay, so like I think if the savior role goes to Gideon, just no offense to like the actor, and there's nothing against the actor. We love Giles Matthew, but just the character of Gideon himself, he's not as likable and as entertaining as Emma, who we've seen for the last 6 seasons.
Right.
Yeah.
We're gonna want to watch a character consistently. We're not gonna want to watch Gideon if he's gonna be the savior, you know. So
Yeah.
like, say he got the transfer of powers, but he would go off to somewhere else, and then Emma's just like living her normal daily life
Yeah.
again.
Yeah.
I mean, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I would actually love to see at the end, maybe this could be a cliffhanger into the next season, where we think that like Emma sacrificed herself as the savior. She appears, quote unquote, dead,
right, but she's not.
but she's not.
That would
Like
be
she,
great.
like she sacrificed herself and she gave up her savior powers to save everybody.
Right.
Hence,
Yes.
what a savior does.
Right.
And I'm just thinking, I mean, these are the same creators and writers as Buffy, and like all the beats are the exact same. They killed Buffy twice. She saved the world. She sacrificed herself to save the world. So I could totally see them doing the exact same thing with Emma.
Yeah, that would be great.
She sacrifices herself to save everybody.
That I feel like that would make sense actually. That would kind of, and like there's no other way you would want to make her do something like and die from it or whatever.
And Gideon's good.
Yes.
Yeah.
Again, I still think he'll have that moment at the end where he'll turn and actually face his face Black Fairy and even face Rumple.
Yeah, that would be good.
great.
Really quick, actually, Ivan Soto in the chat says, Dakota, remember that Gideon said he still wanted to help the Black Fairy. He's pretty brainwashed. Both Belle and Gideon have Stockholm Syndrome. And he's been putting that in the chat a lot, so he wanted to...
Probably in all caps, too.
Yeah, we love him. No, I remember that. I could see that. Yeah, I mean, I could. Is he saying, I wonder if he's saying before she grabbed his heart and is possessing him, or after? Because if it's after, he would be saying that because she's possessing him. But if it's beforehand, then maybe...
But the thing is, Gideon's aware that the Black Fairy has his heart.
Yeah.
Right.
And has been controlling him. Is everyone else who doesn't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm honestly like kind of starting to get quiet. I'm just thinking. I'm like,
So much can happen.
All
So
these
much
calculators
can
and this stuff still don't add up.
But I think the sword is going to be the undoing for the Black Fairy, though.
Yeah.
I don't know who's going to possess it. If Gideon's actually the one to kill Black Fairy, that'd be great.
Yeah, I feel like he would be. And he's like, that's kind of his savior moment.
Oh, yeah. Now I get it. All right. Emma transfers his savior power to Gideon. Gideon now has the power to wield the sword, kills the Black Fairy. He's technically the savior. He leaves. And that's how Emma gets relieved. That's how Emma gets relieved of her savior role.
Maybe she can settle down with Hook.
Yeah. It'd be one happy family. There you go.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, they'd still have to like save lives
what could
and
happen.
such, but
Yeah.
And Emma relieves her savior power. Somehow her savior power, quote unquote, like gets transferred to Gideon. Then
like
he'll
that.
have the power to take down the Black Fairy,
Yes.
possess the sword, go his own way.
I like
Yes,
that.
I like that,
Done.
and that is like perfect because then that's when they're all gonna hero around each other and be like, "We got this!"
Done.
And yes, perfect.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
We figured it out. So have a good night, guys. See you later.
Thanks everyone for tuning in, joining in the live chat, listening, and downloading, subscribing every single week. Where can we keep following you?
You can follow me on Twitter at Ally Nasta and on Instagram at Ally Girl. And if you're interested in any other after shows, you can catch me on Monday nights doing the arrangement at 8 o'clock.
Ooh, all right. Well, you guys can find me on all social media at Mr. Dakota T. Jones and my new talk show, Millennial Hollywood, on AfterBuzz TV's Popcorn Talk.
And you can follow me on Twitter at Serafini TV. You can follow Tiana at the Tiana Hobson. You can follow Roxy at Roxy Sawyer. Go follow them too. They still love the show. You can follow all of us here, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, all those fun social media platforms at AfterBuzz TV. Keep rating, keep commenting, keep subscribing, keep watching the show. So much more to happen. Thanks everyone for tuning in, and we will see you next time.
I'm just waiting.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.